Hey, today I'm going to do a video about music. You may be wondering, music, what is there really to say about music? And I guess if you're someone who's not really a big fan of music, you might not get what I say in this video, but I'm hoping the people that see this video will be, because then, you know, you're going to get what I'm saying. So, okay. I'm also really awkward, I don't know, I haven't spoken to a camera or anything in ages, and I look really shitty because it's a Friday and, you know, I just rolled out of bed to make this, so I hope you don't mind. But I'm going to talk about music and the effect I think it can have on people, and yeah, so let's go. We're going to start off by going back to a 12-year-old me. So let's go back 2 years and look at me when I was 12. When I was 12, the biggest problem I had in life was trying to get guys to like me. You know, I know I was only 12, but you know, there's this thing with growing up where suddenly you realise that, you know, you're in a world of people that judge you, and all I wanted to do was fit in, to have people like me. So I never really paid music much attention. It was something that was always there, like there'd be the biggest song of the week or whatever, you know, looking through the charts, listening to Radio 1, but it was never really something that I ever thought much of. I just thought, it's music, it's like a soundtrack to life, you know, you just listen to it, it makes you feel certain things. I never realised that 2 years later I'd be relying on music to get me through almost anything and everything. My real love for music kind of started at the start of year 9, so about this time last year, or a bit sooner than this time last year, when I was introduced to my first band. The first band I was ever introduced to was Unit 6. I know you've probably all heard of this band. They're from a place quite near me, so yeah, I got introduced to them at the same time that their album Sinners Never Sleep came out. And so they were the first band really that I fell in love with, the first band that I ever had a connection to, and since then, as you can see from my walls, bands and music have become a massive part of my life. And I want to try and put into my words why I think music can be such a massive part of someone's life. I'm going to start off with one, the lyrics. I think with pop songs, whenever I listen to them, I never really appreciate the lyrics in them. I just listen to the song. If it had a catchy tune that I could kind of move around to, I'd just be like, whatever. But, you know, ever since I started to appreciate music more, I've really listened close to the lyrics. And a lot of my favourite quotes and like things that I kind of live by are lyrics from songs from some of my favourite bands. And I think it's so great that bands can write these songs. Well, not just bands, any artists. I'm not saying it's just bands that do this, but they can write these songs that inspire people and that make people feel better about themselves when the rest of society is looking down on them, when maybe they're not doing well at school, they're not getting on with their parents, they maybe don't even have that many friends, they're having all these problems. But the lyrics in a song can really speak to someone and can turn someone from being really upset to being really happy with themselves and happy with where their life is. And even if they only get relief from all their problems for a few minutes, it's still a few minutes of relief that you can get from music, and I don't think you can get that kind of thing from anywhere else. The second thing I think is the sense of community that you get from music. Around the same time as I got into bands, I joined a website you all know called Twitter, and I think this was basically the start when I realised how massive music is, because music brings people together. You find someone with music taste that's similar to you, someone who loves the same band as you, and obviously you know you're going to get along well with them because it's a common interest. So people make friends through music. So even if you don't have that many friends to start with, music can kind of bring you together with people who you never really would have spoken to. I've spoken to so many people through the internet just because of my music taste and theirs, and that we have similar interests and things like that. And I've gotten to know people that I never ever would have spoken to if it wasn't for music and for the love of having a love of a favourite band. And you know, it's really amazing how powerful music is in that sense, that it can bring people together. As an example, even though it may not be the happiest example, Mitch Lucker died on the first, or on Halloween night. Which was obviously really, really sad, and I found it really sad because, you know, he was someone that a lot of people looked up to. But this was also a kind of big thing because it brought everyone in this kind of music scene together. Even if you weren't a massive fan of Suicide Silence or anything, everyone came together to mourn the death of someone who was such a big figure in this community. And I think that's so amazing how something like that can happen just through the power, like through music and through the community that music brings. And it's really, really amazing. Next thing I want to talk about is the way music can provide a home for you. Now, I don't know if you know the same as me, but you could have a really, really terrible day at school, but then you can get home, lie down in your bed, put music on, and literally you just forget about all of that. It all just goes away because music is so powerful at taking away something like that. And that's why I find it so upsetting when people insult my favourite bands, because, you know, these favourite bands, I would say, are a home to me. You know, when I think of them, I think of Happy Things. I'll take Autumn No as an example, who are my favourite band. Like, if people say bad things about them, it upsets me as a person because, you know, they've helped me so much through so much stuff, and I see a home in them. I know that if I'm upset, I can always just turn to their music and turn to them as people to kind of just by existing, they can cheer me up. And it's kind of like amazing how that can happen because, you know, I don't know them personally, I've never met them, obviously, I don't know them, you know, like that, but they can offer me like comfort and support even though they're not saying anything to me. And it's just so amazing how something like that can happen through music. The final thing I wanted to talk about with music is gigs, and that's kind of fitting in with everything together. How you can be having, I saw, the last band I saw was The Blackout in Oxford, and I was having a kind of shitty week, and I was kind of just wishing the week would be over, and it was something that I've been looking forward to for ages, so I was just like, right, gonna have a good time. And you know, when you're in that room surrounded by sweaty people with this band in front of you who, like, you kind of look up to them as people, and you know, you'll admire them for what they're doing, and you just get lost in the music and you're just jumping up and down, and the music kind of fills your body, and even though you're sweaty and people are rubbing against you, you don't care because you are happy. And you know, you could be having the shittest week, but in a situation like that, when everyone's all jumping together, when everyone's kind of all together enjoying the same thing in a room like that, it is like one of the most amazing feelings ever. And if you haven't like experienced something like that, then you really, really should, because like they are the best experiences. And you know, it's just amazing how music can make you feel like that. I'm really sorry if I've rambled a lot, and if you haven't really understood where I was going with this, or if you kind of just sat there like, what is this girl on about? But you know, if you get what I mean by what I've said, then you know, I feel you, and I hope that we could be friends. I'm really weird, but yeah, if you did understand, then that's great. If you didn't, then you know, you need to find, if you don't have a band or anything that really makes you feel like this, then you really should find them, because you know, it's a great thing to have in your life. And that's it. I love you. Goodbye.